Welcome to the video, welcome to JH Reviews. A bit late to the party, but I've finally seen A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, and it is so good to be back in Westeros and the world of Game of Thrones. I'm looking forward to reviewing the series, so let's get straight into it, and don't worry, there are no spoilers ahead. Let's go.
How good a knight are you?
You'll see. It's this way.
A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms is set around a century before the events of Game of Thrones, during the height of Targaryen rule. The series follows Ser Duncan the Tall, a newly made hedge knight, and his young squire Egg, as they arrive at a major tournament hoping to make a name for themselves. What begins as a simple opportunity for Dunk to prove his worth quickly pulls them into conflicts between nobles, rival knights, and hidden tensions beneath the surface. Set largely around the tournament itself, the story focuses on honour, reputation, and the realities of knighthood, as Dunk is forced to navigate a world where doing the right thing doesn't always come without consequences. I never saw a trailer for this. For me, Game of Thrones sells itself. I was always going to be invested and watching. And I also haven't read the book that this is actually based off. All I could recall was Ser Duncan being mentioned in the earlier seasons of Game of Thrones, so I was going in blind and intrigued. And I think that allowed me to be completely surprised about how good this show actually was. And I found it to be a brilliant one. Everything within this story and setting felt contained and compact. There was no need for multiple storylines or having to go beyond these characters. It was really well crafted and believable. I really enjoyed the duo of Dunk and Egg, and they were played so well, both bringing a strong identity to their characters. Dunk is this big friendly giant, at times unintentionally funny and maybe a bit slow to things, or as he would say, thick as a castle wall. But he possesses all the qualities of a good person and an honourable man. Egg is witty, intelligent, and has this natural empathy that makes him very likeable. He and Dunk really bounce off each other, and that dynamic is a true highlight of the show. Props to the actors and the writing. As for the antagonist in the world of Game of Thrones, George R.R. Martin always knows how to write a good, bad character. Someone you genuinely wish ill of. We see that here as well. I wouldn't say there's anything extreme compared to previous Thrones villains, but there's enough there to really make you dislike certain characters. Massive credit to the writing team because everything that happens feels organic, from the forming of unlikely relationships and friendships to the clashes between protagonist and antagonist. It all flows naturally. Visually, it looks like a medieval epic, and it's very impressive, especially when it comes to the action scenes. You don't get many action scenes in this series, but when you do, it's truly immersive. You get a first-person experience at times, and it feels realistic. You can feel the weight of the hits and the intensity of the environment the characters are in. The set production is brilliant, the set design, the costumes, and the overall feeling of a lived-in world. Even though the world of Game of Thrones is a wild one, not somewhere I'd like to live personally, it's definitely a place I love escaping to. There's such a vast amount of lore and depth to the world, and the characters even, that it feels like a real part of history, and that might sound a bit over the top, but I'm genuinely fascinated by it. There's something that also really hit home whilst watching this, and it's a common theme in the world of Game of Thrones. The line was, "I do not know why tragedy so often follows honourable men." It really highlights that virtue doesn't guarantee safety or reward, at least not in Westeros. I wouldn't say there are any major negatives. If you read the book, you will see certain twists coming, and if you haven't, you probably pick up on things fairly quickly. It is slower compared to other Game of Thrones series, and there isn't much action, but it's very strong in character-focused storytelling. It's only 6 episodes, but for the story it tells, it works, and it doesn't feel like it needs more just for the sake of filler. Here are my ratings for the show. A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms is Game of Thrones at its finest. It's a solid 9 out of 10. I genuinely had a great time watching this. I was torn between 8 and 9, but I can't really fault the show. Great storytelling, fascinating characters, and strong production. It deserved to be higher. Honourable mentions. Soundtrack, 5 out of 10. Not bad at all. The music in Game of Thrones has its own identity, but nothing here really stood out for me. Though I did add the main thing to my playlist. The soundtrack did what it needed to do. Cast, 9 out of 10. I genuinely couldn't fault the cast. Casting always hits in the Game of Thrones world. Everyone was likeable in their own way and did exactly what was needed to make you either love or hate their character. I actually thought this was going to be a one-off season, but there's actually so much more story to tell, and I'm fully on board with it. We're already getting a season 2 next year, and House of the Dragon season 3 is well on its way. We're eating good. So that's my review on Game of Thrones, A Knight of the Seven Kingdom. Have you seen it? If so, what do you think? Please let me know in the comments below. And if you're new here, please subscribe to the channel. It would mean a lot. But for now, that's me. Take care, and we'll see you soon.